everyone, it's Mcthriftzie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video all about ThredUp Luxe. So if you're new to my channel, I am a full-time reseller on the Poshmark platform. Because I'm a full-time reseller, I am obviously doing a ton of thrifting, and I will stumble into designer items pretty frequently. I would say at least every other week or so I find like a higher end, more obscure designer brand like Acris Punto, Escada, Max Mara, brands like that. And it was kind of bittersweet. It used to be kind of bittersweet because obviously it was very exciting to find those brands. The retail prices on those brands are like, thousands of dollars. If it's like a cashmere piece, it's over $2,000. It's just kind of mind-blowing, insane. And the bitter part came in when I would list it on Poshmark, and it would just kind of sit. I would say like, oh, I found this fabulous piece, but it's just sitting. And then an offer would finally come along, and it was, $25, $35, something ridiculous. Then I found ThredUp Luxe, basically. I am not affiliated with ThredUp. I just want to throw that out there. I started consigning with them through their ThredUp Luxe platform. I want to say a year or a year and a half ago. I have made 2 videos since. A lot of people ask me if I consign with the Real, and I don't. It's basically just because I've been so content with the ThredUp Luxe platform. You can go back and watch my other 2 videos. The first one, my first experience, the first box I ever sent off, I sold a Max Mara dress with ThredUp Luxe, and my profit was like over $450. I think I paid like $6 at the thrift store. So since then, I've had no real reason to consign online with anyone else for my designer items, and I've been happy with the experiences that I've had. So this video is going to cover my experience with my 3rd box. Again, I was very happy with it. This video is going to be pretty much just the payouts and the results. I would suggest, if you are planning on consigning your designer items for the first time with the ThredUp Luxe platform, that you go back and watch the other 2 videos first. I will have them linked down below in the description, just because they kind of go a little bit more in depth on the whole process, with things like their payout estimator, which is a resource they have online that just kind of gives you a better idea of what you can expect, what kind of payout you can expect from your items before you send them in. And also, I think I talked a little bit about the designer directory, just stuff like that, that's just a little bit more in depth than this video will go. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this video. This is going to be my experience from box number 3. I have my notes here. It's a lot of information, so I'm going to be referencing it a lot. So let's get started. Okay, so just a general timeline. I shipped my items off to ThredUp Luxe on July 17th. The box was received by ThredUp on July 25th. It took 6 days to be received, and then the box was processed by July 29th. So only 4 days to be processed. That was awesome. They accepted 10 items, 10 Luxe items, which were items that had a brand that was listed on their designer directory, and then they accepted 5 non-Luxe items. So obviously those are items that were not listed on their designer directory. They took 0 items for an upfront payout, and I think they've done away with upfront payouts altogether. So that's just an update. And their total estimated payout was $1,291.80. So just quickly looking ahead to give you an idea of what I actually was paid out, was $922.74. So with their estimating of $1,300, I think that was, pretty great that they were able to estimate, pretty close to what I received. So yeah, let's go ahead and go over the items. I'll first start off, also 2 items were rejected, and I'll start off with those. So the first item they rejected was an Armani Collezione silk button-down shirt. I'm not sure why this blouse was rejected. ThredUp does automatically reject items with missing size tags, stains, holes, and men's items. This blouse had none of those issues, so again, I'm not really sure why it was rejected, but I currently have it listed on Poshmark at $75. The second and last item that they rejected was an Escada structured button-down top. Again, I'm not sure why they rejected it. It did not have any issues that I could tell. It ended up selling on Poshmark a few months later for $50. So, just as a side note, any items that ThredUp immediately rejects are promptly shipped back to you at no charge. So it's free for them to send you back your rejected items. They do it the same day that they process the box, so everything is pretty quick. Okay, so now we will go over the Lexx items, or the items that are listed on their designer directory. That basically just means the Lexx items that when they sell, you will be paid out a higher percentage than you would for the non-Lexx items that they accept. So first off, we have a Gianni Versace wool skirt. After a couple months on the site, this skirt ended up selling for $96.99, and my payout came out to $48.50. I purchased this skirt at Goodwill for $5 and bought it specifically to send into the platform. I didn't feel that the style of the skirt would do well on Poshmark. In my opinion, pieces like this are ideal to send into ThredUp Luxe. They're not really trendy enough to be super in demand on popular platforms like Poshmark and eBay, but they are high-end enough to be accepted by ThredUp Luxe and exposed to an audience that prefers quality and designer labels over things like style and print. My net profit on the skirt came out to $43.50. Okay, second piece, we have a Christian Dior wool pencil dress. So this dress was a little bit of a roller coaster ride for me. I originally sold it on Poshmark for $105, which was way, way too low. But it was sitting for a long time, kind of like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and I was excited for it to, have a new home, be worn out in the world. It was such a pretty piece. But the Poshmark buyer actually ended up opening a case claiming that it was inauthentic, which I'm pretty sure was just a cover for it not fitting, because it was unmistakably authentic. You could tell by the quality, the fabric, the stitching, everything was just, perfect to a T, very high quality. I just sent a quick little response and said, please have the buyer send the dress back to me, which thankfully it was returned in the same condition, which was really the only thing that I cared about with the whole ordeal. It ended up selling on ThredUp Luxe for $409.99, making my payout $369. That means that I would have left $285 on the table by selling it for $105 on Poshmark. This shows you that there is true variability in demand between platform to platform, and I really encourage you guys to try other avenues that can offer better exposure for your designer pieces. I paid $8 for this dress at Goodwill, making my net profit $361, so that was awesome. I think that was maybe like my second or third highest flip ever. Okay, third item, a pair of Selene pinstriped wool trouser pants. These pants were listed on Poshmark for around 3 months with no serious offers before I sent them in. I had even price dropped them to $50 with no luck on Poshmark. They ended up selling on ThredUp Luxe for $127 after a couple months of being listed, and my payout was $88 with 90 cents. I paid $7 for them at Goodwill, making my net profit $81.90. Next up, we have a fuzzy, that's F-U-Z-Z-I, velvet midi skirt. This skirt was listed at $55.99 but did not end up selling. So I don't know all too much about the brand Fuzzy. I do know that their signature fabric is polyamide, which is kind of like a mesh or almost like a tulle fabric, and it's very stretchy. It definitely has like a high-end look when you're wearing it, or a high fashion look. So that's definitely their signature look for that brand Fuzzy. However, this skirt, I actually have it here, I did end up reclaiming it, is a velvet material. So I think this didn't end up selling because this skirt is kind of out of the box for this brand. It's kind of, you know, not their signature fabric. It's not what people look for with this brand. However, it is, you know, a beautiful piece still. It's amazing quality. It was made in Italy. Here is the brand tag. And so I'm just going to go ahead and list it on Poshmark. Another thing is that ThredUp, their pictures don't always do the pieces justice, so you couldn't really tell any of the details. You can't really now either, but it's like a faux wrap skirt. So I'm going to go ahead and list it, you know, just see if, you know, it's a good, for the season, it's good. It's velvet, so, you know, maybe someone will like the style, and if not, I can always send it back in with my next box and see if it will sell in the future. I did end up, or I paid $5 for that skirt at Goodwill. Just as a side note, you guys, don't forget to check the skirt section. I have found some of my highest pieces or highest flips in the skirt section. I found a Comme des Garçons maxi skirt one time. Next up we have Fuzzy, again same brand, diamond print stretchy top. So unlike this skirt, this top was made of the brand's signature fabric, the polyamide, and sold within just a few weeks of being on consignment. So I would recommend, if you guys are picking up this brand, that you would go for the polyamide fabric pieces. So I sent this top in because I was hesitant about Fuzzy's marketability on the Poshmark platform, and also because it was tagged as a size extra large, but it was tiny. But apparently this brand just runs really small. I was kind of doing a little bit of research on it. The sale price was $54.99 and my payout came out to $22. I paid $3 for this at the thrift store, so my net profit was $19. Derek Lamb silk blue shirt dress. This dress was new with tags and very beautiful. However, it was missing the waist belt, which would have made it a harder sell on Poshmark. I've kind of noticed that if there's anything missing, any type of flaw, you basically just have to discount it by a ton. You know, it is what it is. The retail price on the tag was $1,490. It ended up selling after about 3 weeks on ThredUp Luxe for $277 with 99 cents, making my payout $222 with 40 cents. I bought the dress from Goodwill for $8 and had a net profit of $214.40. So that was awesome. That was a super beautiful dress. I'm so glad it went to a good home. And yeah, I hope she loves it. Next up we have Yigal Azruil. I'll put the tag on the screen. New York chambray top. So this top gained a lot of interest early on and was purchased about 2 weeks after it was listed. It sold initially for $98.99, which would have made my payout $49.50. However, it was returned. Excuse me. So from what I could tell, your item sells and your payout is pending for 15 days in order to give the buyer a window of time to return it if they would like. If the item is returned, ThredUp relists the item and adds time to the consignment window to make up for the days that were lost while it was, you know, being shipped to the buyer. They were deciding if they liked it, and then they shipped it back. So if the item ends up selling on the site for a second time, you are paid out as soon as it ships out from ThredUp Luxe. However, it is relisted at a lower price the second time. So I hope that makes sense. You know, if you're confused, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I know it's kind of a lot to take in, the whole process, but so it sold the first time for $98.99, but sold the second time for $73.99. After being shipped out to the second buyer, my payout of $29.60 was immediately released to me. This top, like the fuzzy one, was also tagged as a larger size. I think it was a size 10, and it looked tiny, which was a big reason I didn't want to sell it myself, and am happy with the payout. So I actually looked tonight back on my ThredUp profile, and it looks like the second buyer that purchased it ended up returning it again. However, that didn't affect me because they release your payout the second time that it's purchased. I paid $5 for it at Goodwill and made a net profit of $24.60. Acris pleated high-waisted maxi dress. Okay, so kind of like the fuzzy skirt, this skirt had beautiful details to it that the photos on ThredUp Luxe were unfortunately not really able to capture. It has a lovely wood embossed design throughout that you really can't see at all, or you couldn't see on the website. I have it here. Again, I did reclaim it. Here is the tag, Acris. It's a full-length maxi skirt, very beautiful. It has the pleating. There's the, I don't know if you're going to be able to see the kind of wood embossed design there, but it is really a beautiful piece. It was listed at $166.99 and it did not sell. I have reclaimed the item, and again, I'll just take better photos. It's a great piece for the fall time. I'll model it, you know, try to show the buyer what it looks like on. I paid $5 for that skirt at Goodwill. Moving on, we have a Gucci wrap top with belt and braided leather ties. So this top was so cool, and one of my favorite thrift finds ever, I think. It sold after about a month of being listed on the site for $177, but it was returned before my payout of $124 was released to me. Like I mentioned earlier, it was relisted at a lower price with added days to the consignment window and was resold for $143. My payout of $100.10 was immediately released to me once ThredUp shipped the top to the second buyer. I paid $10 for this top at the thrift store, making my net profit $90.10. So basically, you kind of just have to be very patient, or have a lot of patience if you send stuff in, because you know, this kind of crazy shenanigan type stuff can happen. You can sell something and say, oh, okay, I have this payout pending. But then, you know, after 15 days, the payout is just gone, and, you know, you have to wait for it to sell again, and then once it sells again and is shipped out, then your payout, which is a lower payout than the first time, is finally released to you. So, you know, you just kind of have to roll with the punches and just go with the flow. You can't really, you know, get upset or anything. It's all just kind of entertaining to me to see, you know, what is going on with it. And still, you know, my net profit was $90 for that Gucci top, so I'm very happy with that. Next up, we have an APC plaid button-down shirt. I grabbed this shirt at Goodwill for $3 in January of last year, thinking that it would be super cute for the springtime with the pastel colors. I have it here. However, certain APC items seem to have little to no demand in the resale market. I think dresses, sweaters, and selvage denim from this brand do the best, and everything in between, like this shirt, just kind of fall flat. That's what I have noticed. This brand is on ThredUp Luxe, their designer directory, so I sent it in just to try to get what I paid for the shirt back. It ended up selling after a couple months for $39, making my payout $9.75. However, it was returned and I ended up reclaiming it. Again, I will just list it on Poshmark. So yeah. Okay, so now let's go over the items that were accepted on consignment but are not brands that are on their Luxe or their designer directory. So these are non-Luxe items. First off, we have an Escada Camisole. So this was a little bit annoying because this camisole was a part of a two-piece Escada set that I sent in, and the camisole sold, however the jacket did not. And you know, I don't know if the buyer even knew that the camisole had a jacket. I can't imagine why, you know, she would just buy the camisole if she, you know, wanted it and not buy the jacket. But anyways, I paid $10 for the entire set at Goodwill, and just the camisole sold for $65, making my payout $26. So I already made a profit from just the cami, obviously. And then second item, non-Luxe item accepted, was the Escada Cardigan. Obviously, this is a jacket I was just referring to. Although I'm a little bit bummed that they split the set up, it was, you know, a beautiful set. If just one were to sell on its own, I would definitely prefer it to be the camisole. That would have been, you know, kind of annoying to reclaim on its own and try to sell myself. This cardigan did not sell, but it can definitely be worn with any camisole, obviously. And I think it should do well on Poshmark. I was looking up comps, and they actually look like they do pretty well. This was not a piece that I ever had listed. It has really cute buttons and this beautiful kind of lace trim. Very high-end piece. This is a size 38. So ThredUp had that cardigan listed at $185. My payout would have been $111 if it were to have sold. Next up, we have a Cabbie Blazer. This was the older tag Cabbie and another item that was catered towards springtime, which did not move on Poshmark. So I kind of just wanted to make my money back on this. ThredUp sold it for $33 and my payout was $3.96. So you can definitely see here that the payouts on non-Luxe items are much lower than, you know, Luxe items. I really only send in items that are not on their designer directory if I am just, you know, trying to make my cost of goods back. Basically things that are bad buys. Next up we have a Hale Bob or Hallie Bob beaded blouse. I picked this up at Goodwill for $6, and after being listed on Poshmark for around 6 months, it received 0 likes or interest, so I chalked it up to a bad buy. All items that were accepted on consignment had an optional payout that was offered for 1 week only and was a very low percentage of the consignment price. So it was only smart to take this payout if you just wanted to get rid of the item or if you thought it had very little chance of selling on consignment. I never would have taken, you know, this super low payout for something like the Christian Dior dress, obviously, because I knew that something like that had a way higher chance of actually selling. It's kind of confusing, but I wanted to take the payout on this particular piece because I just wanted it gone. So I accepted the super low optional payout of $4.80 for this top, which is probably about what I paid for it at Goodwill. So I was happy with that. And last piece was a J. Godfrey printed strapless dress. So again, this is just another item I wanted to get rid of. I took the very low optional payout of $4.40. I actually bought this at my local outlet for $2, so I did make a couple dollars profit on it. Okay, so that's everything that sold on the website. Let's go over my totals. So my total earned after all of ThredUp's fees have been taken out was $922.74. My total cost of goods for all sold items was $67. That's not including the 4 reclaimed items. And my net profit came out to $855.74. So I'm very pleased with how this box went. And, you know, I encourage you guys to try it out. Just send in a couple items. You know, like I said, you have to have a lot of patience, but it's fun, and it is a great avenue, in my experience, for, you know, designer items to get more exposure, to sell for a decent amount of money. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. If you are confused on anything, I know, like I said, this was a whole lot of information. You can definitely leave me a comment down below, or you can send me a direct message on Instagram if you would prefer that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.